G'day guys, Shane here. We're out at Kow Swamp. Kow Swamp's about 10 kilometres southeast of Kahuna. It's basically, it used to be a swamp, but these days it's really just a water storage for the local irrigation system that waters all the different farms around the place. You can see in some of this drone footage that we've got here, the banks of this picnic area that I'm situated at right now, where I've taken a majority of my photos. And look, this is a pretty famous spot for local photographers to take epic sunset photos right here, and I'll do a video of that later on. But the banks of this picnic area is being eroded away. The local council, which is based about 60 k's away, they seem to have wiped their hands of this, and it's a real shame. It's a sign of the times where the small number of voters get the least amount of attention from the council. But anyway, what we're here for today is the Camera Plus 2 app, and I said in a recent video that I was going to talk about the slow shutter functionality of this app, and I thought this is a good place to do it. I like taking photos here. So you know, we'll get into this now with the Camera Plus 2 app and the slow shutter functionality. All right, let's check it out. So you may have watched the other video that I've done on slow shutter photography or long exposure photography, but I'll link it up here, but I'll touch on a couple of little things here that I think are pretty important. What you want to do with long exposure photography is have something that's moving, like water, waterfalls, that sort of thing, traffic, but you want to have also in that frame something that's dead still. That could be light posts, lamp posts, buildings, dead trees in the water, all those sorts of things, rocks in the water. And what you're going to do is have a photo that takes a long time, and all the things that are moving in that photo will turn silky smooth, and the things that are not moving in that photo will stay nice and rigid and perfectly in focus, so the structure will be quite good. It makes a nice contrast. So what I've got here is the iPhone 11 Pro set up on a tripod. It needs to be on a tripod because some of these photos take, well, you can take them for 30 seconds long. You can take them even longer than that if you wanted to. But on the Camera Plus 2 app, they go for a maximum, I should say, of 30 seconds. You can take it down to 5 seconds, I think it is. But what we'll do, we'll record the screen and I'll show you how it works. So here in the slow shutter app, or here in the Camera Plus 2 app, we go into the slow shutter mode by hitting up the top here, and you've got the different functionality, and you've got the macro there, and I'll link up the top here, the macro video that I did last time. But today we're talking about the slow shutter. So we'll go into the slow shutter. You've got the exposure compensation that's up the top here on the sliders, and on the bottom of that you've got the amount of time that you're going to shoot for. We want to shoot to get some of this water that you see in the frame here. You want to capture some of that so it's silky smooth, but all of this dead logs and the stumps, we want to keep that nice and in focus. So the focus here we're going to put onto one of those logs, onto one of those stumps there, and we're going to go for, let's go for 8 seconds first, and we'll see how that one goes. Hit the shutter speed, hit the shutter, and we'll let this photo take it. All right, let's go and have a look at the image. There it is there. Let's zoom into this now. Now you can see there that the trees are really well in focus, but the water that was all wavy, and you can see it's still wavy out here behind us, it's nice and smooth, and it makes a pretty cool contrast. Now one of the interesting things, if you've got an iPhone 11 Pro, you've got those 3 lenses that you can use there. If you, up the top here, if you hit on the 2 times, that's the zoom. Hit on the 1 times, that's the 24 or 26 millimeter equivalent there. And we hit it again, we'll go right open wide to the 13 millimeter. And that's the ultra wide lens, if you like, on the iPhone 11 Pro. And that'll make an even better photo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually jump down in there, in the bottom corner here, get a bit lower to the water, and we'll take another long exposure photo. All right, let's get into that one. So I've just climbed down the bank, and what I'm trying to do here is get the lens, get the camera closer to the water, so that the water looks flatter, and it will make a nice silky effect quicker. So look, we'll set this up on the tripod here. I don't mind this log that's here. This log's going to add a little bit of foreground interest. So I'm going to see if I can use that. We'll open this up again. So we're set up pretty well. I'm just going to drop that down a little bit so the top third there is on the horizon. I quite like that. I'm just going to set it to 30 seconds. It's already at 30 seconds. I'm going to let it go. I'll get out of its way now so my shadow's not casting too badly in the photo. And let the photo be taken. It's a pretty cool spot, this one. We've got, over there I can see some ducks. Here's a couple of galahs flying in right now. Some swans, pelicans. There's so much bird life here, and there's a barbecue sitting up there, an electric barbecue, picnic tables. It's a great spot to bring your kids, bring your family. We'll just let it all go a bit. It's a real shame. Some of the night photos that I get here are just spectacular. Anyway, hopefully that's 30 seconds done by now. I'm sure it is. It is. Let's have a look at that photo. Now that looks pretty bloody good. That's nicely in focus. The water almost looks quite clear there. It looks almost like we've got a polarizer filter on there, but we don't. So look, that's the long exposure, or the slow shutter, with the Camera Plus 2 app. And I think you'll agree, that's pretty bloody impressive. All right guys, well, I'm just going to take a few more photos here. I'll throw them up, and that'll do for today. I'll see you next time.